What's going on, everybody in the VC? It's Craig here, back with an entry video into Dylan Noble Records 7,000 subscriber contest. Congratulations, brother. I love your channel. I love getting to see all the collections you get to pick up, stuff that you're putting in the store. Your collection in general is insane. All the stuff I've learned from you when it comes to like psych and things like that, it's just been unparalleled. Me personally, there's a certain amount of a line I draw when it comes to psych. I can't jump too far down the well, A, because it's financially impossible for me because there's so much good stuff out there, but also in terms of taste, I kind of draw the line and go, okay, it's a little much. I'm not going to listen to that as regularly as I would maybe some more of the mainstream, use that in quotes, artists or more well-known stuff. Some of the obscure stuff, just kind of, there's a reason for me that it's obscure. Not that I'm saying that it's not good, but just for me personally, but I'm like that with every genre. I mean, there's thrash stuff that I just don't like because it sounds like 50 other bands. Hair metal, jazz, rap, I mean, you name it. There's every genre I have a certain line that I draw and go, okay, we're done here. So anywho, enough of that babbling. Let's get into the good stuff. So Dylan's got some questions that I'm going to answer, hopefully the best of my abilities, and we'll go from there. BC cheer. So let's get right into this. I'm going to grab my phone, because I am a lazy POS and did not write down the questions. So, first off, what's playing in the background? Genesis Abacab cassette. Don't get a chance to really listen to cassettes all that often, so nice to pop one on. I'm gonna turn it down just a notch. A, so I don't get flagged. B, so I don't have to scream at the camera. Alright, so, first question. So, and first answer, best finds. I could go on for days about great finds, cool digging stories, whether it's in a record shop, thrift shop, a hoarder's basement, garages, people's front porch. Yes, I've done that too. We've all been there. We all have crazy digging stories, sketchy, weird stuff that's happened, but I decided I thought of two, that came to mind, and I was like, you know what, we'll go with those, and I wanted to keep the video short and sweet too. So, first one up here, The Doors, self-titled. If memory serves me right, because I picked this up about 8 years ago, I believe this is a second stereo press on Electra. We don't really need to talk about the music on the album because we all know The Doors, we all know the self-titled. Story behind it, I was at my favorite record shop at that time, well, more of a used media store. They had other stuff too. I could go in a little bit more in depth. Well, if you want to watch, there's a video from February of 2012 where I picked this up and a bunch of other stuff that I go into a little bit more detail. But long story short, I'm at the shop, just kind of perusing through. I think I grabbed a couple of things. I was good friends with the owner, and he was going through small crate of records that a lady had brought in. I believe they were husbands or something like that she was selling off. Had no idea about value or anything else, was just trying to find a place to get rid of them. So my buddy picked out a few that he liked, and then called me over and he's like, hey Craig, come on, dig in, see what she's got here. Maybe there's something here that you want. Maybe you guys can cut out a deal. I'm all done, so you're, everything's fair game. I'm like, okay, cool. So picking through, and I'll say right now, I'm glad I don't remember what all she had, because I'd probably regret not grabbing some of it, especially now, just because of how good the deal was, and that was before record prices went ooh, and the interest was insane. So, but I know I remember a couple that I passed on, and I wish I would have honestly known what she was gonna take, or else I would have grabbed a lot more. But I think in the end I grabbed maybe about 30 or so records. And totaled out, I believe, to around like 60 bucks. So killer deal. It was like $2 a record. But I know I picked out a couple in the shop, and then she says, hey, I got more out in my car. And both of our eyes got big. So like, wait, what? me and the shop owner, because she didn't bring that stuff in for him to see. So he went outside with me, and she opens up her trunk, and I just start going to town. There was a lot of Beatles and a whole bunch of other stuff. I know I picked up stuff that I really needed and wanted. This was one of those. Been high on my want list at that time. And I mean, granted, cover's got a little bit of wear to it, but the vinyl's in great shape. And for $2 for an album that was very, very instrumental to me in my discovery of the Doors and early classic rock and things like that, that was killer. That I could have literally just picked that up for that day, and that would have been it. And I would have been happy. But yeah, that was an amazing, amazing find. And obviously, she didn't care about prices because these things were just strewn about in her trunk, flopping all around as she was driving along from place to place to see where she could shovel them off to. So, but I feel like I did pretty well that day, and that's still one of my favorite sort of digging stories. Other one I'm going to show here, Buckingham Nicks, self-titled. This is the gatefold on Polydor. Reason why this falls into best finds. So I was at the same shop, it's about a year or so later, and I picked this up, believe it or not, minus a little bit of cover wear, vinyl's in beautiful shape, for $1. Now we all know this is fairly rare, not rare like there's only 10 copies available in the world, but not exactly one you see very often, unless like certain shops or maybe a record show or something like that. And usually the prices are not just $1. So, I couldn't believe that I found this for $1. I was ecstatic beyond belief and couldn't believe he threw this in the dollar bin. I have no idea why. He wasn't in that day, so I couldn't ask him and be like, dude, why'd you throw this in the dollar bin? And even then, there was plenty of times where I dug through his dollar bin and picked up stuff, and he'd be like, oh shit, I threw that in the dollar bin. He's like, well, oh well. But this, such an amazing album. To find it for $1 at a shop in beautiful shape was just still one of my favorites, and a great album nonetheless. If you have not heard that, do yourself a favor and check it out because it's amazing. Next question. Let's see here. Best song ever written. That one, very subjective, obviously, and a hard one to really answer. But I took myself out of putting 10 hours of thought into it and decided to go with an album that had, or not an album, a song that had the biggest impact on me and one that I haven't gotten sick of. And let's just go ahead and show it. We'll talk a little bit more. So I went with Refugee from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and their album Damn the Torpedoes. Now, is it the best song they ever wrote? That one's subjective too. For me personally, I would say yes, just because its production is unparalleled at that time, especially for rock music and just music in general. And then just it's an amazing album opener. I mean, it just knocks you in the face. I've never gotten sick of the song. I mean, hell, it was my ringtone for a few years, so anytime I hear it now, I still think my phone's ringing, but it hasn't been my ringtone in probably 6 or 7 years. Anywho, amazing album, but amazing song, and it was really the first song of Tom's that I heard and made an impact on me. I can still remember exactly where I was, what I was doing when I first heard Refugee, and I've never gotten sick of that song. It still has the same impact on me today as it did the first time I heard it when I was about 7-8 years old. So, there you go. Next question. How do you keep track of your collection? Horribly. I am horrible at tracking my collection. Not that I don't know what I own. There's a rare occasion where I'll be digging through my collection and go, oh, I didn't remember buying that, or where'd that come from, or huh, that's cool. Which is definitely the sign of you have too many fucking records. But that's not even a thing. Not in this house. Anywho, I did start with Discogs many years ago when I had way less to track, but that was a long process and I only think I logged a few hundred. So, tedious. I lack patience. I have a pretty good photographic memory though, so if I see something or I'm holding something, odds are if I'm holding it and I'm giving it some thought, I'm pretty sure I don't own it. It gets a little mixed up if I'm finding other pressings and stuff like that, which kind of sucks, but I have a pretty good memory of what labels I have. And I mean, and if it's $1 or less and I can't totally remember, I'll still pick it up. Worst case scenario, well, I'm not buying trashed records first of all, but odds are it might even be an upgrade to what I have, or it might be something that I know, okay, you know, I'll pick it up for cheap and I'll be able to trade it off, or maybe, you know, sell it off to somebody for a few bucks. You know, that part doesn't matter to me. It's more about just getting the music, and that's it. So that's pretty much the grand scheme of how I keep track of stuff for the most part. I mean, everything's organized in my collection by genre and then alphabetical and chronological, so it's not a huge deal of not knowing what I own. But anywho, the one record you'd never sell. That's an easy one. Well, there's a couple in my collection, but this one came to mind right off the bat. It's Metallica's Ride the Lightning. It's an original first press on Megaforce. Reason I would never sell it, it was gifted to me from my best friend's dad, who gave me his record collection when I was 17. For the sake of time for the video, I'm not going to drag on about what I got and the whole reasoning behind it and stuff, but it was an amazing gift, and it's my favorite album from Metallica, and still think it's their best as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, I could not sell it, knowing that obviously it's worth a bit of money. But it's not so much about the monetary value, it's about the music and being able to have a copy that, you know, was given to you and has that, you know, value to you. Hell, it could be a $1 record. It's not about value to me, it's about monetary value, but it's about where the emotional value is. Favorite music or record related documentary? I loved Your Choice, Dylan, for All Things Must Pass. That is a must-see for anybody out there who hasn't seen it yet. And the rise and fall of Tower Records, or what exactly the undertitling, whatever the hell the word is for it. But yeah, it's about Tower Records. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's great. My Choice, the Beatles Anthology. Just showing the DVD box here. I took the DVDs out so I wouldn't look like a jackass and have the DVDs just go falling out of the box. This was my intro to the Beatles. I remember when it premiered on ABC in 1995, the week of Thanksgiving. I remember we taped each episode, aired on a Sunday night, and then part 2 is on Wednesday, and then part 3 on Thanksgiving itself. So I remember, you know, recording those and then watching them endlessly. I had seen A Hard Day's Night about a year or so before that, so that was kind of my toe in the water for the Beatles, but didn't really go beyond that until I saw the Beatles Anthology, and then that just blew the doors beyond wide open. I mean, it just exploded my mind to all the possibilities of just music and really delving back in, because my parents' record collection didn't go beyond like the mid-70s back. It was mid-70s up to present day. So, you know, I discovered a lot of great music, and this just kind of sent me down the rabbit hole that I still haven't come out of. I was music obsessed, but I became very obsessed with not only the Beatles, but just getting into anything that came from the 60s and the 50s, and just really exploring that particular era. And this is one that still gets watched by me today. I bought these the day they came out. Still need to get a VHS copy just for kicks. No real reason. But anywho, let's see here. Next question. Favorite record you received as a gift? So this one, sticking with the Beatles, This is a mid-70s, I believe mid-70s, Japanese press of Rubber Soul. I received this from my wife, well, girlfriend at that particular time, but then became my fiance that same day that I received this on Christmas. It was our first Christmas together. It was one of the first gifts I ever got from her. So obviously there's that part of it. But just sentimental in general that it is for my wife and somebody that, you know, means that much to me. But we're not going to get all sappy here, are we? No. But yeah, I could never see myself ever selling it either. This is just an amazing album, an amazing pressing, and the best gift you could ever give me in terms of material items. Yeah. I'm not going all this sentimental, sappy crap. Because then I start bringing up my daughter, and then, you know, I'll start crying and shit. And then, you know, we don't need that. Anywho. And then the last question, what's your listening ritual? Don't really have much of a ritual these days. If I'm getting to listen, and we'll kind of stick strictly to vinyl, if I'm getting to listen to records at all, it's either as I'm sort of doing something down here in the basement, when I'm working on some sort of oddball thing, or if my daughter is involved. So, because she'll like to come down here and hang out with me and play her own drum set and just kind of get to spend time with Dada. So, and I'll put music on and stuff like that, but usually I'm playing with her or just kind of hanging out in general. If I do get an opportunity, which is very rare, to listen to something and really take it in, I'm either sitting in this chair here, which is my computer chair, or I've got a chair off to the side here that was my parents' from before I was born. Or I have a couch in my other listening area, which I still haven't done a room tour, and I probably won't do it in this house. I'll wait till we move and have another proper area. But anywho, I like to, anytime I get that opportunity to sit down and listen to an album, I like to really just turn my mind off and just sit back and absorb, maybe read if there's, you know, liner notes, album credits, stuff like that. In some cases, I'll have my phone out and maybe read some stuff about the album or the artist. If I'm reading a book on a particular artist, I'm usually listening to their records. So I try to, you know, not get myself too off base. If I'm getting a chance to listen to something, I want to make sure I'm getting to absorb it as much as possible. Well, depending on what the music is, too. If it's something upbeat, I'm going to have a hard time wanting to sit down for too long. But then if it's also lower key, I don't want to get too off base and lose any semblance of sitting there and listening, because I might just end up falling asleep. Who knows? Just depends on what it is and what time of day it is. Anyway, so hopefully that answered your questions the best I could. They're my answers, so I gotta live with them. But anyway, again, Dylan, congratulations on the subscribers. 7,000 couldn't happen to a better person. Keep up the great stuff. Keep coming with the videos, and just the great vibes. Always love seeing videos from you, and hope to connect with you more now that I'm making a video in response. And even though I don't get to really comment on your videos because I'm watching them on my phone or tablet, and it's hard as hell to try to comment on those. Hopefully at least we're making a good connection here. And go from there, man. But again, congratulations, and to everybody out there watching the video, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Hopefully I'll be back with another video at some point. I know I will. It's not hopefully, it's just a matter of I don't know when. But stay tuned, and thanks again, guys, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.